To understand word problems, we have to read the question at least twice. In our attempt to understand the problem, we use self-questioning and chunking technique to seek clarity about what is known and unknown and what we need to find out. I will start to use self-questioning and chunking technique. Aunt Janice made 3 times as many tarts as her neighbor, which is to be sold during a charity carnival. I ask myself, who is in the story? Aunt Janice and her neighbor. What do I need to chunk? In the first sentence, I will chunk 3 times as many tarts. In the second sentence, after selling 380 tarts each, Aunt Janice had 4 times as many tarts as her neighbor. In this sentence, I will chunk after selling 380 tarts each, paying attention to each, Aunt Janice had 4 times as many tarts as the neighbor. At this point, I will ask myself, is there any change? Yes, there is a change. There are, in fact, 2 scenarios because of the word after. I will try to restate the problem. Since there are 2 people in this story, I will compare Aunt Janice and the neighbor with 2 scenarios, before and after. At the beginning, Aunt Janice had 3 times as many as the neighbor. After selling 380 tarts each, Aunt Janice will have 4 times as many as the neighbor. Both result in changes for the number of tarts. However, I can also ask myself what did not change. Since both sold the same number of tarts, their difference remained the same. I would now compare the difference at the beginning, which is 3 minus 1, or 3 unit minus 1, which will result in 2 units. 4 units minus 1 will result in 3 units. Since we say that the difference remains the same, we should make the number of equal parts the same for the difference before and after. From the numbers 2 and 3, what common number can we make? Very clearly, from here, we want the difference to be represented into equal number of units. We can make 6 units. How do I make 6? I would have to multiply 3 throughout here and multiply 2 in the after scenario. That will give me 9 is to 3 is to 6 for the before scenario, and 8 is to 2 is to 6. That will leave me with the same difference before and after. And then, because they are all in the same and equal units now, I can compare the number of units represented by Aunt Janice's tarts to the number of units represented by the neighbor's number of tarts. So, before, Janice or Aunt Janice have 9 units. Now she has 8. The neighbor has 3 units. Now she will have 2. They should result in the same difference because they sold the same number of tarts each. So 1 unit is actually 380. And how many tarts did Aunt Janice make? So I assume this is before. Aunt Janice actually made 9 units. And that will be 380 times 9. That will give you the answer of 3,420 tarts. And that's the answer for part A. Let's look at B. The tarts were sold in jars of 10 for $8 each. How much did Aunt Janice and her neighbor collect from their total sales if they sold all the tarts? I would chunk 10 for $8 each and total sales if they sold all the tarts. So, in the first place, am I able to find out how many did they make all together? I should be looking at this. And that will give me 12 units. 12 units will be 12 times 380, and that will be 4,560. Okay, let's look at this number. It's sold for every 10 is sold for $8. So let me count how many groups of 10. There should be 556 groups of 10, and every group of 10 is $8. And that should give me $3,648. And that's the answer for part